Howdy everyone, and we're back to more for the 2024 Stone Burner Open for Dune Imperium Uprising. I'm your host and commentator, the BlackShadow, and we're continuing our coverage of the group stage for the competition coming towards its close. And that brings us to Group S one final time. We've covered a game or two from this group so far, and it's time for their final match of the tournament. So here's a look at the group standings here. It's a bit more complicated than it looks initially, and no one is safe at the top of the table. We've got TheGreedyGrill, Videll, Beast, and MichaelWild playing in this one. So we're going to start with the bottom of the table to work out how all the permutations go here. MichaelWild, unfortunately, is not going to be able to make it through. It is top two go through the quarterfinals, and then third, fourth, and fifth will make their way to the wild card playoffs. This means that Mike, unfortunately, will only be playing for Pride in this last one. Beast, however, does have a small chance of getting through. If they can win this match, and if Videll comes last, then it will come down to the average points tiebreaker. It'd have to be a pretty significant swing between the two in order to actually, make it happen, however. So it's largely out of Beast's hands. All he can do is try and win this game and hope the odds fall his way. But barring that, we get to the top five. So, Crazy Guy and Nine Soldiers are both guaranteed to be in the wildcard round here. So, it's all about a scrap for the final two places. Jinx currently leads with 16 points from his 2 games, but is not safe at all. Obviously, TheGreedyGrill is sitting right behind. And if Greedy can win this match, they'll obviously take first spot. Second place, they might be able to unseat Jinx as well, although Jinx got a pretty decent average point rating. So, it'd have to be a very, very strong second place in the match. And then we get to Videll, who does currently have the highest average points rating of the group so far, so he's going to be decently good for some tiebreakers. But unfortunately, he's only got 1 win instead of the 2 that TheGreedyGrill has, so Videll has to win this match. Even if he was to say get second place and Grill got 4th, and they have time 14 points, Videll would lose on the wins tiebreak. So Videll must win this game in order to make it through to the quarterfinals direct. Otherwise, anything bar a last place and craziness with Beast, and he should still be good for the wildcards. Okay, so we're getting ourselves ready for the match here then. So, Beast has drawn the first position in the blue seat, which means MichaelWild to pick first in yellow. I still don't think in any of the games I've covered, green has ended up being first player. Like, it's happened like in games I've played randomly, but it just hasn't happened for a tourney match. Strange. Anyways, let's go and have a look and see what we've got for the opening stuff then. A couple of okay contracts here. Deliver supplies is obviously pretty popular. It's a space people want to hit early, but when you do take that, you are going to get a little bit of extra heat, and people are being more inclined to stop getting you from getting there, because obviously a bump, a water, and free cash early game is really, really good. I got the side card double card draw as well, which is okay, but it's a bit tricky to make good use out of sometimes. Imperium row is fairly combat orientated. With a couple of very strong worm style cards in Desert Power, as well as leadership here for just getting worms in, getting more out of them was all pretty good. Counter Desert Power is a very powerful spy card, allowing you to get it all sorts of places, and the trashing is obviously pretty good. Reliable Informant is nice early. And obviously compare well with just some extra access and getting the spies down, and Delivery Agreement if you're willing to go down the contract route. As for leaders, here is the 7. We are missing Amber, and we're missing... Who else are we missing here? Staban. Staban would love a Captain Power as well. So this is going to be a very aggressive style. Gurney and Marty, you'd imagine, are both going to get picked here. Margot might well try and get in for Calculus, and there might be another card draw like a Shaddam or an Alarm, perhaps. We shall see. So we do see Gurney Halleck picked in the 4th seat here, which I think makes a lot of sense. Pretty popular, pretty nice all-rounder. He's going to be trying to get hold of leadership or Desert Power. Probably leadership if he can in the first round. The problem is with Gurney is obviously you want to try and get the troops in and put pressure and still get always smiling off, which is one of the best parts about Gurney Halleck. Very, very strong. Desert Power obviously would be really nice as well. He's more likely to get that, but it's going to take him a little bit longer to kind of get a lot of use out of it. Although even so, just being able to send it to a maker spot and getting +2 spice, that's still pretty good in itself. That's like kind of like an old carry-all or thumper almost included. Very, very nice. So Videll up next. He's got to decide if he wants to go down a combat route. Wadi was taken. Not surprised. Again, loads of worm dudes. So now we'll see what happens here. I can see Greedy picking Margot a lot here, especially with like Staban gone. But he'd be a little bit worried about Fade being picked to his right and losing access to counters of power. It's a little bit tricky. Is there a place to go for like with all the combat stuff? Do you go for like an Emperor Shaddam and just kind of take a much more passive approach to this? Go heavy. Maybe go like first round, try and go like deliver supplies, and then maybe accept contracts somehow. Pick up the contracts, go back deliver supplies, and just start shipping straight away. It looks like to be what the plan he's going to go for. I quite like this. You are a bit subject to your card draw, of course, but I think this is a fairly solid idea here from TheGreedyGrill. And then Beast has got like probably like Fade, maybe Margot. He's got to imagine a road like this. If he wants to go for counters, unless the barn's been picked, he's probably getting there. And we do see Margot indeed. So here we go then. Opening conflict is the Dagger Skirmish for the influence bumps. So Muad'Dib and Gurney are going to be going absolutely all in for this if they can. Shaddam's got a pretty nice opening draw here. So Margot will be going to Seek Allies to Fremkit, as you do. So Shaddam's got a lovely spot here. Deliver supplies, try and get to accept contract. Hope you beat Margot to it. Hope everyone's kind of got... people are going card draw, they go Arakeen. Seems like a pretty solid way to go and try and approach this. I don't think I'd be... I mean, the contract for deliver supplies is nice. But I do think that it's better. Also, because Shaddam's in, it's now a new contract hits the counter one. Which is alright. Oh, this is brave from Shaddam. Really? He's going to go for the contract first. Oh, that is greedy, if you will. I think he's shown this before in previous games. Like, he is more than happy to take some chances and hope that players just don't block him here. But someone's hitting deliver supplies here, I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know what his backup plan's going to be. Like, Muad'Dib's going to feel like they have to just go Desert Tactics and just pile it in. They'll be a bit worried about Gurney, though. Gurney might occasionally decide to do that. Wow. Muad'Dib turns it down. Not interested. He goes after the card draw. He wants Desert Power. Thinks it's more valuable. I imagine Gurney's... I don't know what Gurney's going to do. Gurney's going to feel like he has to go Desert Tactics. Can't let Margot go back there. So surely this will go in. He'll put in the free for always smiling. Always just a bump as well. He's going to commit himself to this. I'm a little surprised Muad'Dib didn't go Desert Tactics there, but hey-ho. So does Margot block deliver supplies? You think she would. She's got her rings. She's unfortunately drawn her other diplomacy card, but I don't think she needs to worry too much about someone putting spies on that. I think she's got... You think she blocks deliver supplies a lot here. Wow. Well... You know what, Shaddam? If people aren't going to block your moves, then sure. Whatever, I guess. That's pretty wild. But there you go. Unfortunately, again, this is the thing. Like, we are in the early days. You think that's like sort of thing where people are a lot more aware of like kind of getting each other's way, but you don't see it a lot as much in the Uprising group games at least. Players are a bit more worried about their own game. Not enough people are kind of looking at what's going on around them. But, you know, there you go. So Greedy gets everything he wants, and he is looking pretty strong here to just rock and roll. That extra money is going to be super useful. He might even look to try and... Both High Council contracts are out there as well. He's probably going to try and get hold of those too. Pretty insane that he's just, been donated those. So Muad'Dib's got his... he can get to Dutiful. He's got 7 Persuasion. What does he want to do here? I think Staban... He's got 5 Persuasion. I think Staban's going to go down contract as well, assuming that Margot would take Calculus with 4 cards. She might also go for a... might go for a one of the Shremming cards if she's got the Persuasion for it, though. That's what I'm a bit worried about. He's kind of a little bit worried about what he wants to do here. He feels that there's a couple of potential problems in regards to bits and pieces. Uh-oh. So Muad'Dib goes for the most aggressive option he's got, which is Spice Refinery, to try and take this down. Oh my goodness me. Wow. Well, Gurney Halleck goes to the Assembly Hall for Persuasion. He's found contingency. He's picked up +3 swords. He might... I don't know. Is it worth denying Muad'Dib here? There might be value in it. I don't know. That when he sees that Muad'Dib's got his other faction access in his hand, he might block him here. Anyways, Calculus of Power. So Margot gets her spy card. That'd be pretty nice for her. We do see Shadam go for contracts. Undercover Asset comes up next here. Now, that is going to change things a little bit for Muad'Dib. He's got 6 Persuasion. Now, does he go Steel Desert Power? Yeah, he still does. So, Gurney Halleck also picks up... But Gurney Halleck's got to go Undercover Asset, you think, a lot of the time here. That lets you get to spaces without having to worry about the requirements here. Gotta take that. I think Gurney Halleck should strongly consider... Has he got 6? I think he got 5, not 6, but... Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I think there is value, potentially, in Gurney Halleck deliberately stalling Muad'Dib here. There's only one card that gets Muad'Dib to faction access. And maybe Gurney Halleck can stop him getting there and get to Hook sooner. I think he should definitely consider it. I don't know if he will. Some people look more obliged to do it than others, but forcing Muad'Dib to not win this is pretty big. But I don't think he's going to. Is he going to? Oh, he does! He does make the block here. So we get no blocks on GreedyGrill, but Michael does force a draw in the combat here. So terrible news for green. Red wins the fight, basically. And it'll be intrigues and spice dotted around. Oh my goodness me. So we've got Counter's Ambition for Muad'Dib, which is pretty good, but a bit awkward to get hold of. And MichaelWild finds another contingency plan. That's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy. And obviously Margot picked up Mercenaries early, which is pretty nice, but it's a bit difficult to use early, unless it's like a big money fight. Like Arakeen or something. So, round 2 is the Test of Loyalty. Now, this is usually a really big fight for Worms, and it is a money fight. So, interestingly, Shadam decides he's going to frame kit here, and he's going to block off. What's going on here exactly? Is Shadam getting ready for some research station here? Interesting. Well, he blocks off frame kit anyways. Muad'Dib does find Seek Allies. But he's not going to bother anymore. Gurney obviously doesn't have any water. And Margot doesn't have the faction, actually. Did not redraw it. So all sorts of fun and games going here. Muad'Dib just puts the spy down. And calls it a day. I feel like the Hagabation spies perhaps a touch less valuable. Because you can obviously summon them in with... But it's kind of weird though for Muad'Dib, obviously. He's got Desert Power right now. But obviously, he's not going to be able to get the frame kit. So it's all getting a little bit funky here, because Shadam's decided not to just go all the way down the path here. So I wonder, I think Shadam's just going Spice Refinery, I think. He's just going to put in these extra 2 troops and just try and brute force his way to this. I don't hate this. I don't hate going down this route at all, by any stretch. And he figures it's a good combat for him to try and get into here. But it looks like I assume that's what he's going to do here, Spice Refinery. He's going to get and basically guarantees his way to that. No? He wants 5 persuasion. Or he's further garrisoning? I don't know. There's a bit of weirdness going on in here. Doesn't even pay for the water. I wouldn't even consider paying the water just to get yourself to Deep Desert. And then next round, you could Deep Desert, use your ring and the money you've got to pay for the shipping bump, and then go shipping. You know, there's things perhaps he could have considered. I don't know. I don't know. But Greedy's taking a funky path here. Muad'Dib feels like he's got to use Desert Power here. He's got his Diplo in hand, and Desert Tactics is still there. He could just go Hagar Basin and just take 5 spies. You feel like if he doesn't hit it, someone else is probably going there. He could also just hit Imperial base and then take 4 and keep his water. Muad'Dib's having to kind of plays a little different. But Desert Tactic is still sitting there, so he feels like he's got to go there. The problem is how's he going to get the bump back? This is my only problem with this. It's a little awkward. Gurney's got his ring in contingency, so Gurney, I think, is going to try and win this. I don't think he's going to be able to be stopped here, unless Margot commits more. Chases Dune because he has obviously got Desert Power. I think that makes sense. It can be easier to trash your daggers too early. I mean, go for the dagger instead. I think both are fine. I don't hate trashing the Dune because you got Desert Power replacing it, but you know, whatever. So Gurney will hit the refinery himself. I suspect he'll put both these troops in. He will not get hold of all his smiling. He only gets up to 5 combat strength here. Margot is going to go for Assembly Hall. Gets up to 6 persuasion, going after Price is no object. Finds Cunning. Not a bad card. So Smuggler's Haven for Shaddam here. So he's not going to use it. Smuggler's Haven is a weird card though for Shaddam because he likes getting a lot of spice just to hit shipping loads and just exploit that a lot. Smuggler's Haven makes that really difficult to do easily. So it's not going to be doing as much shipping as you'd think. Leadership from Muad'Dib, all those worms he doesn't have. Guild Spy peels off for Gurney Hallett, by the way. Oh, my dear me. So, yeah, getting those spies going. I don't know how much you actually use that as a Spiceless Flow card, but we'll see. And unfortunately, this is where my mic actually died for like sort of 5-6 minutes before I noticed it. So just adding more editing work to this. You get to enjoy some post BlackShadow commentary. There you go. So, conflict here. And MichaelWild's got tied up here. Now, this was a bit of a surprise for me here, actually. Yellow opting not to use contingency plan and not win this, which at the time I was really surprised about. I would have thought a lot of the time he'd want to look to try to get this down. Obviously winning the bumps, getting for the Emperor is going to be good because it could be a bit tricky for him to get those bumps otherwise. But he decides that it's more valuable to just take the Solari and get his Swordmaster first. So interesting choice. Kind of, I don't know, giving up a bump for that, though, pretty curious. So, next conflict is Shadow Contest here. So, more bumps. On a flop to match, which is, no one has, obviously, at the moment. And one have given up the last one there. So, Muad'Dib up first. Just obviously going to draw some cards here. The row's a bit weird now. Pretty cheap. Lots of, the unswerving, space-time folding. Nothing too expensive, though. So, it's kind of hard to go for a big persuasion build unless you're going to sort of go in heavy here. Pulls Desert Power off of his deck here, which isn't ideal because he can't get any worms into combat. A, he's got no water, and B, the wall's up anyway, so it wouldn't matter. So, might end up just grabbing some spice here. Imperial Basin is loaded with spice here, by the way. And then we get to Gurney, who obviously built up the money to go sword mastering, but it was left there, so he's like, okay, I guess I'll take it and just rock and roll here. Does make you wonder. Does make you wonder if he's willing to do that to take the spice and not go for the Swordmaster. Maybe he should have just won the last combat anyway. I don't know. Anyways, so Margot goes Fremkit, gets her first access to the Siege, which she'll look to do with Calculus. Swordmaster for Shaddam. And it's back over to Muad'Dib here. Bit of an awkward spot, this one. Again, he's got no water. There's buckets of spice sitting at Hager Basin. Yeah, trying to go there, but he can't. He has no water. It's amazing the amount of folks that try to do that. It really does. You see it a lot. So, awkward spot here. And he can't even, like, say, go to pick up some water because someone's going to go Hager Basin before him here. So, yeah, best he's going to do here is just go deliver supplies, pick up some water for later on down the line, but not ideal at all. No siege access even. So we've got Undercover Asset, which will allow Gurney to get to siege ahead of Margot, which is pretty useful. So blocking her worm access, which was clearly the intention here for Margot, going Fremkit and just hit Siege and go from there. But that has now been thwarted. So not ideal. Not a ton else she could do here. It's a combat she does kind of want to win as well. She's got some daggers behind her. So Hagar Basin's sitting there with plenty of spice. Kind of hard to give that up here. There's 4 spice sitting there. Might even use mercenaries once on a blue moon here and try and take this down, but Shaddam's sitting there with a ton of firepower as well. So she does limp in. Mercenaries does get used. So she spends an intrigue. She recalls an intrigue. Just putting it in, not even caring what the intrigue is. I would always look first, personally. And she picks up Siege Ritual, which looks pretty juicy. Although she's already got the Siege access, so she might use that just to like hit the Fremen Alliance and just take it down immediately. Shaddam's got a couple of actions, so time for him to get some contracts, you'd think. And he does. Getting some money together for his ring later on. That's to discard, obviously, for a contract. Both High Council contracts out there. And one thing I do think is really useful in this game, if you're going down a contracts route, especially for fulfilling those cards, is if you can try and pair up your spaces and your contracts, that's huge. So both High Council contracts out there you really want. Does peel off the Research Station Water contract next, which is better than it looks. Trying to work out if he's got to put some troops in. He knows he's going to have to put in at least 2 troops to get anything out of this. Is it worth putting those 2 in to try and deny Muad'Dib? Maybe, maybe not. He's got garrison to throw around. Like 4 is usually a good number, maybe 5. 6 is kind of verging on, you don't really want any more in there, so, putting the 2 in, just, you'd hate to put the 2 in and not get anything out of it, but the odds of Muad'Dib having 3 daggers is very low. Even if you put 2 in and deny Muad'Dib, it's not a disaster. You can kind of-ish get away with it, I guess. Decide to put them in. Not good for Muad'Dib. It's been a bad round for him, this. Surprised he went Arakeen for the draw instead of going Pure Basin, truthfully, but hey-ho. So Southern Elders he'll take. Bit of Fremen Bond there, maybe. Southern Elders is a bit of an awkward card to use, though. Guardian's going to reveal for 5. Cargo Runner comes out in the row there, by the way. It's a really good card for Greedy, potentially. So takes 1 Unswerving Loyalty, and then takes the other one. He doesn't go Paracompass, which really surprises me. And this is really dangerous from Yellow, by the way, to take double Unswerving. It means he's now got 4 cards in his deck of like 12 or 13 cards that have no access anywhere. You are asking for 1 bad draw to just really paralyze you. So very dangerous, this. Think probably a little bit, maybe not the right pick. It gives Margot access to coordination. And then, obviously, faction access intended for Greedy. So he's got a couple of choices. He could go Desert Tactics to go in for the fight here, which I don't hate. He could also just go for the Emperor and take the High Council contract, which he ultimately does decide to do. However, he takes a long time thinking about the Highliner contract. The problem is he's got Smuggler's Haven. Any spies that he gathers, he needs to be using ideally for Smuggler's Haven. He's thinking, well, I can just reveal Haven to get some spies to Highline, but really want to be hitting it. He then flirts at looking to take one of his contracts here, but he doesn't need to hugely, so he ums and ahs about it for a while, but eventually takes target. Again, I just think if you're going down this route of going down these contract cards and trying to fulfill them, you want to pair up your visits where possible. You can get 2 contracts done in 1 visit. That's great. Think about it. In a game of Dune Imperium, you get maybe 20-ish Asian actions in the whole game. It's not a lot when you think about it. So being able to pair up those contracts is really huge. If you like double espionage contracts to to get that 6 Slari, stuff like that, really, really strong. Sorry about that. Past BlackShadow will have to... his might die quickly there, so I'm sure I'll have to fix that one. Anyways, but yeah, makes much more sense for TheGreedyGrill to take the High Council contract rather than anything else. It's going to be really hard for him to get to the high spice tariff spaces like Highliner and Sardaukar. So I think he's doubling up these contract spaces makes much more sense. When you're going for these contract style cards, if you can reduce the amount of places you got to visit by doubling up, like you want to be doing that as much as you can. That's why, like, to say the double espionage contract, for example, incredibly powerful if you get the spy there. So combat it is. And assumably Gurney, I think, is going to contingency in play for this, you'd imagine. You'd think this bump would be worth it. Passes again. Gurney Halleck is waiting for the conflict to go for. He's happy to just bide his time and wait. Okay. Spire Aurora is found, which could be useful for him, actually. And then we've got Go to Ground here for blue. But yeah, Gurney Halleck is biding his spot, and he's waiting for specifically a pairing conflict here. But that's, you know, these are bumps he's turning down. He's got to pick them up elsewhere. Guess he's relying on Guild Spy to do the job. Well, it's a wall conflict. Spice Refinery it is. Guild Spy is in hand. Will not be pick up a Spicer's Flow here. It's not a pair for Shaddam, who obviously wants to get involved here soon. So Gurney, yeah, just going to deliver supplies here. Not worried about Blue having market opportunity. The only thing he would lose Swordmaster to. She could have it. It'd be kind of ugly if it did. So going to use the trash as well. Basically paying a spice to trash along with the draw. Makes sense. Present objects in hand. Probably just revealing that a lot here. Unless she wants to pay for like getting like a prepare the way in hand or something. 9 persuasion in hand. Also got Seach Ritual as well. She could use that with like price to just go after the Benny Alliance early here, perhaps. You think Margot probably has to just go Spice Refinery a lot of the time here, just get the cash going. No, not going to worry about it. So she is definitely going after Spice's Flow here. No doubt about it. Finds coordination, by the way. So she could coordinate into this fight and get stuck in here. Shaddam refines. Just taking more cheap, easy contracts. It's got to go after Arakeen, you'd imagine here. Might start going after the Sardaukar spots. The problem is, again, like, this is all spice that he needs to be keeping for Haven. Like, when you're Haven, you need to, like, really heavily invest in it, but hey-ho. Wardeeb's going to feel like he's just got to start getting involved here. He's got to start making plays for his hooks. Has to use leadership to do it, which, you know, is what it is. He's got a lot of split loyalties. He's down on resources. But he has got the reveal bonus for the Southern Southern Elders here, so he is running on 6 persuasion currently. Very hard for him to find any Spice Must Flow here, though, truthfully. And the row itself is fairly cheap, so I don't think he should worry about it too much. Yep, leaves the spy there. Oh, it's not his spy anyways. Yep. I think you've got to get involved with Spice Refinery here, right? There's no agent box here. The agent box is for drawing when you have sandworms in conflict, which he obviously doesn't. If Wardeeb is not doing this because he's intending to go into further conflict here. Just limping for now. I think war's coming. Swordmaster for Gurney. He will be going after Deep Desert next. Oh, he doesn't have access. He doesn't have access, I've just realised. Wow, if Emperor Shaddam knew that, he would be going gather support immediately here. Should be noted that Shaddam could have gone gather support once Gurney did his first action and could have actually taken Deep Desert away from him. Maybe he missed a trick there. Instead of going Spice Refinery to grab the contract, maybe he should have just gone and gather support, unless he didn't have the money at the time. But he could have gone with his ring and made the money. Oh no, he would have to make the declaration first. I guess, did he, it was only 2 Slaries, so yeah, Shaddam definitely could have gone gather support after Gurney initially went to the Spacing Guild and could have caused Gurney, if he's going to go Deep Desert, he has to give up the Swordmaster for a round. But didn't do it. Margot does coordinate, as we see. Picks up Weird in Convert, which is really good for it, by the way. Nope. Shaddam more interested in just getting stuck in with the with getting High Council going. Is he going to pay 3 Solari for a bump? He is. I think I would have been prepared to give up Signet Ring to do that. I don't know. It would have been interesting. Anyway, so Mardi does get Siege in the end. How much does he want to get involved here? Gurney's still at Act. It's a little uncomfortable. Spatial Family's got good rewards, but he might just stay out of this and, you know, because if Gurney wants to try and win this, then he's not going to be able to stop him, perhaps. So, he's got Guild Spy, although I imagine he just uses his Diplo here. All spots available for him. I think just going to Secrets is fine. Just going Frem Kit's also okay. He's got just the 1 card to draw. He will be drawing into his discard pile if he uses the Spy, which is why he doesn't. Yeah, not surprised. So Margot with 9 will take Spiceless Flea, you'd imagine. She does have eyes on this Benny Alliance, most certainly. Shaddam's got 4. I'm assuming he's going to pick up the other coordination card here. And then Wadib's also got 4. There's a lot of value for Shaddam, though, to pick up Cargo Runner, which is also on the road. This is the one that gives you more card draw, the more contracts you've done. Oh, Shaddam does have an action still. He doesn't have a redraw off of the Prepare the Way, so he's probably just going to go Assembly Hall. Maybe Gather Support again. I think Assembly Hall's probably what he'll go for when he does. Picks up the part from Arrakis. So a Water, 4 Persuasion. Coordination looks pretty good to me. Just takes pressure off your Diplo. Could go Space-Time Folding for Highlander access later on, maybe. He's looking at that as well. Barra Compass. It's all affordable. I think Space-Time Folding is an option, but Coordination is pretty good. It's a bit awkward when you've got Shaddam in front of you. It makes it a little bit less desirable. Oh, no. And look what Gurney Halleck's just walked into here. Oh, my dear. Dearing me. I mean, that's just like, yeah, an insta-take. What a huge spin that is for Gurney. His Guild Spy is coming together very strongly now. Shaddam, I assume, just takes Power of Compass for Spiceless Flow buying. It'll be basically a free Persuasion reveal card. That's what it is. Capture Mentor comes off next. That's a nice card. So, Margot wins this. It's not a pair for her, but she gets it cheaply enough. She'll be happy. Shaddam second. Mardi third. Everyone will feel they got a decent return for their resource commitment. No one has paired any of their combats yet. It's also not going to be apparent that red and green probably don't have combat intrigue. Certainly red doesn't. Green probably doesn't. Oh, no. Well, it can be a match winner. This in Shaddam's hand's really big, by the way. It's kind of hard for him to commit to forces properly sometimes, especially with Worms, because of his ring. That's going to help. Deep Desert continues to build, by the way. Still no visits. Gurney was hoping to hit there with Worms, but it's still no Worms. It's another walled conflict here. Imperial Basin this time. And wow, and Gurney Halleck hasn't pulled it, and this is the problem with Gurney Halleck here. Because he's got this double unswerving draw, it means that he is going to get draws where he does not have very many actions. Double unswerving is really dangerous, I think. Because it's just two. It means you've dealt 4 cards in your deck that have no symbols on them. So a third of his deck he can't use for agent actions, basically, at this point. asking for trouble. Margot's going to go for the cash. Makes sense. Now, if Shaddam knows, or if he did know, he would be absolutely going to deliver supplies here. Every single day of the week, he'd be going to deliver supplies here. Shaddam might go deliver supplies anyways, truthfully. He needs water for unexpected allies. He wants shipping access, ideally. But does he realize? Gurney Halleck, desperately hoping it doesn't happen. But it seems a pretty natural move for Shaddam to do it anyways. And when the guy's got 4 cards that don't have any access on them, I would be putting him under pressure and I'd be taking chances. He's got the perfect hand to do this. He's also thinking espionage and just putting a spy on a maker spot to just build up spice that way. That's his other consideration. But I would be, you know, I haven't seen any of these unswervings. I would be 100% going after Gurney here. And like, if he gets there, so be it. You've still got shipping access. You can still go to Imperial Basin. Hager Base you might get to as well, because again, it's still walled. So you can still send your Haven to there if you want and get the points. Gurney hates this. Gurney hates this, but it's gonna dodge a bullet. Wow. Shaddam doesn't bother. Because, well, the guy's just gotta have access, right? Wow. I mean, it looks so much easier when we've got all the cards. But even not knowing Gurney's hand, as I say, a lot of his hand doesn't give him access. I would have been tempted to try for it. Just because it gives you that shipping access for later anyways. But no, he is just going to go down the... I'm just going to build up spice route. So Gurney Halleck just needs to get to ASAP. Now, Muad'Dib could now try for deliver supplies. And he needs water, of course. He could go to Deep Desert and get 10 spice. He'd be set for the rest of the game. Muad'Dib also just wants to hit Siege and blow the wall, though, so we can start getting worms with Desert Power. Or is he just going to go Hager Basin for 5 spice and Highline? It's not a matching conflict for him, but it's spice return. Oh my god. Gurney Halleck is absolutely getting away with this. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Watching this and realize how he could have lost Deep Desert 8 spice in so many ways, yet no worm. There's walls. It makes me how many people still do that, by the way. Like, it's like every other game where someone tries to put in a worm when they can't. It's just fascinating. Oh boy. No! Oh boy. And Gurney Halleck, there is nothing he can do about this. Muad'Dib does not realize the bounty he is about to walk into. Well. And now Shaddam's realizing, oh, I could have just gone to deliver supplies and just deep deserted and just been in massive profit. But he didn't. He didn't. Swordmaster for Margot. Shaddam is kicking himself probably here. Just going to go probably Hager Base on Imperial Base and pick up spice. He might chuck in a worm here, by the way, with unexpected allies now. Figures he's going to try and go for the water back. It's a matching conflict for him as well. Doesn't use Depart from Arrakis there, interestingly. I mean, Waddib just has to... What is going on here? What is going on? You'd have to Deep Desert here with, like, Dune. What is he looking at here? What is going on? It's got to be... It's surely thinking ahead of time. If Gurney Halleck gets Deep Desert, I will assume that this game is a fix, and I will tell the players to restart. He's trying to work out if he wants to just use Deep Desert, or if he uses Dune. Do he wants to use Dune, or does he use Desert Power for +2 spice now and not worry about the reveal? It's got to be it. Yeah. So takes the +2 spice. This is a real problem for Gurney Halleck, by the way. Gurney Halleck is in a world of trouble right now. How often do you see Muad'Dib go in, get double worms, and 6 spice at the same time? It's got to be a record. Gurney's just going to go hang a base and obviously chuck it in here. He's got double unswerving. The benefit he's got here is that he's got 2 troops he can deploy, and he can both put them in and both retreat them. And he's got the swords behind, so Gurney's just going to probably close his eyes maybe and go for it. I don't know. Margot's just going to get herself... She picks up a leverage. Here comes the discard for the Alliance, as noted earlier. That gives detonation. It's pretty big. I mean, the wall's already gone, but that allows her to consider building up some forces and sending them in outside of conflict. Now, she's got valid maybe some Sardaukar or some gather support. Maybe like a double High Council or something. Seems Muad'Dib didn't draw his card. Guess he didn't. She wants to use a card here. She cannot use leverage. She's just going to detonate and put the troops in now because she's just going to use go to ground here. That's what's going on. She's trying to put pressure on Shaddam here. Try and make him spend up some forces. I think he was going to use them anyways. But now Shaddam sees the extra firepower from Gurney and realises there could be problems here. If he has got double unswerving, you've got to add +4 strength to whatever he's got. Plus anything else he might have. Don't think he can ever get involved here. Don't think there is any way for him to get involved, actually. He just has to assembly hall. Picks up Chris Knife. Doesn't pair him. But it also doesn't pair any of his opponents. None of them have that. That's a nice card to have. And everyone else has got a Chris Knife symbol on them because they're not all getting that completed this game. So that is some point denial at the very least. It's good knowledge. Good information to have that. Muad'Dib with the dagger and 4. Not enough for captured Mentat. Bit of a weird row, this. Space Time's not a bad card, though. Mentat obviously is amazing. Not a lot for him to take here. Might just pass. Does just pass. Yeah, gets his intrigue for the worms. That gets forgotten sometimes. Hello. So Gurney's just going to gather some support here, I imagine. Does he go for the water? I think he takes the water here. Yeah, he does. So Margot with 2. We'll just take a prepare. Shaddam has got 5. Or he's got 8, actually. And surely takes captain Mentat. Now, does he want to use unexpected allies here? Don't know. Oh, look at that, just peels off underneath that. Well, Shaddam will be a happy man. I don't think he can turn that down. He's just going to wait. So, I assume Margot's just retreating. Gurney will put in the +2 troops, and that will do the job here. So he does take it down. Again, it's another not match, though, and Muad'Dib will still walk out this with full water, which he won't be too upset about, all things being honest. Pistol takes B spoils, just going really heavy combat here. Here comes Margot's retreat. Shanann will get his water. I assume she's going to block up a faction here, like spacing or something. I feel like you should. Emperor is also a good shout. Whichever one you prefer. So, Gurney takes it down. 4 water from Muad'Dib and his troops back. And we are still without a combat match. After 5 rounds. I don't think I've ever seen 5 rounds go and no combat match. 2 draws and 3 no match wins here. Well, trade dispute is next. This is this is one of the craziest conflicts for Worms here. Leadership is in hand for Muad'Dib. But it's not a match for him. I don't think he's going to care. Shadam's up first, though. It's gonna have to use Benny here. Now the problem is, though, is he's gonna start putting pressure on the Benny Alliance here. Margot won't be a fan of this. I assume he's just gonna espionage and just start whacking some spies down. I don't know quite where they're going though. One maybe to Arakeen, another one to the Council, perhaps. Trying, or maybe you go Sardaukar is also an option. I think you should put Council somewhere up there. Looks good to me. Whichever one you prefer. Yeah, goes Assembly Hall instead. Fair enough, I guess. I'm starting to think Smuggler's Haven he's not actually going to use at all for any points. I mean, Muad'Dib's just going to blast in here, surely. He can't ship. He doesn't have persuasion. He's only got 1 with the guild. It's still amazing me that was a move he was going to take when it's this conflict. But again, it's not a match for him. Muad'Dib wants money. He has no city access. That's why he was going shipping. He wants his Swordmaster. But he's got no way of getting there. It's pretty crazy. There's no way to generate it either. Like, there's no way to generate it. It's a weird draw from Muad'Dib. It's just a weird spot from him in general. I think he's just going to be Phil Force just to barrel in here. Like, he's not really got much else better to do. He's still trashing some cars. Leadership, he still draws 2, you know. There's some Spice flow chances. He's got 5 persuasion if he wants it outside of leadership. But he might just going to take points here. So Gurney Halleck has the chance to Deep Desert if he wants. It is a match for him. He'd have to use Uncover Asset for it, though. His hand is weird. He's got the other Benny card in hand, but obviously has the Spy there, so he's not too worried about that. I think he's just going to just shut his eyes and just go in here. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So in he goes. Someone's matching a conflict here. Margot's got coordination. Couple of spies down. He's got price and objects in hand, but really needs... The problem is, the row is like crazy cheap. There's nothing in here that's that good for her. Hidden Mist is still sitting there, by the way. It's a card that doesn't get a lot of love. I've used it once or twice in games and had okay with it. Problem is it's only council access, which is a bit awkward. But it's a really good card for going to like Imperial Privilege too. Really nice. I think Margot's just gonna. Oh, she can't ship. She doesn't have persuasion. Man, that is that's a sad Imperial basin just to get leverage off here. Get a contract. Is Margot Fenring eyeing up coordination and her intrigue card here? Looks like Shaddam is just going to take his other side of card contract here. No, takes Arakeen. Interesting. Doesn't stack them. Guess he figures he's going to get the Arakeen awarded here. He might. I mean, I don't know. Like this game is really hard to call. I'm just going to be honest here. There's been a lot of surprising decisions in this one. Well, Wardeep can go shipping again if he wants. It looks like he's going to. It's the saddest leadership I ever saw. With 5 water. Just going to smuggling. He's going to fight for the Alliance here because he's got buy access. That's what's going on here. Doesn't Baron it off immediately, though. Which I would have been tempted, given the amount of spice out there. If you're going to commit yourself, I feel like we want to get involved pretty quickly here. Gurney's got 6 persuasion currently. I think Gurney Halleck should strongly... Is there a world where he just goes Assembly Hall? No, he's going to use his Guild Spy here. So he's going to use that to get into his shipping. I was thinking how he can get a hit with Guild Spy, but I think he's better off in this game just using Guild Spy as an actual action rather than anything else. I think this is probably slightly better here. You don't have to buy Guild Spy and just go for the reveal effect. Obviously, it can be pretty insane, but it's also just, you know, just sending it to a space and the whole projector's effects. Not bad. Margot just setting up secrets here. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's High Council right there. That is Highliner right there. Well, Margot Fenring is preparing to declare war here. Shaddam pulls his Smuggler's Haven card, so he won't be able to use it for any spies. I don't know if he wanted to or not. He's going to have to reveal it here for some additions, but at least he gets the trash priority contracts for a point. See, Wardeep is going to have to reveal here. He can still put a worm in with Desert Power, and I assume he will do if Shaddam does not put in any more forces. Like, you think you might as well. I don't think he's buying anything here. Yep, worm in. Worm in, dagger in. Obviously gives him an intrigue as well. And now gets the intrigue. It's not bad. I don't think you use it right now, though. So, it's Future Shadow, or once again... Oh boy. So, Gurney Halleck goes to Siege to put in some more troops here, but only deploys the one. And that is opening the door here for Margot to blast this in here with space-time folding. She's got the water contract as well. There's a ton of reasons to go get stuck in here. Needs the matches as well, of course. And she is going to. She's got the swords behind as well with weirding, so that's going to make her feel pretty secure here. And the additional effect that she can discard a card to draw a couple more. And just as she doesn't discard the Spice Must Flow card there, noticing how she's keeping hold of the Spice there for maybe some, for obviously mark opportunity stuff like that. Definitely could have. Also doesn't want to draw twice and have to reshuffle her deck as well. So Shaddam just collects the Spice via his Spy. He can now trash the Priority Contract as well for a point. Not be doing too much else here. He's sitting obviously on buckets of Spice here now. He's got Unexpected Allies as well, so gearing up for this tier 3. Looking to just pile it in with Highliner. And buckets of troops maybe. He's got all the stuff in the world here. Gurney, quite a good move here actually from Gurney. I like. He uses Inspire just to pick up an extra sword for the combat. Realizes he's going to need it, of course. Now that Blue has decided to commit in heavily here, he's going to use contingency. Unfortunately, not a lot he can do about this. He does not realize that Margot's got swords behind it. It must feel like there's swords behind here, but I don't think there's anything Yellow can do. There's no way out of this. And Green is going to pick up the 3rd place here for just the Worm, which is really, really huge. Picking up those 2 troops and 2 waters, so he's obviously gearing up for a fight as well. There is water absolutely everywhere on this table, by the way. So, combat it is. Hurts to see Gurney chuck these swords in, knowing they're going to be no good, but there's nothing you can do here. You can't think, oh, they've got the swords and keep hold of them. Unfortunately, the timing is off. He's held on to some of these intrigues for a while, and it has gone horribly wrong. Margot's going to take this down, and Gurney Halleck is in some trouble here. Not even likely to get to Highliner. Blue possibly might cut him off ahead of time. Or or Green even. Post-commentary's hard, kids. But he will claim 2nd place rewards and regards. Gets a couple of trashes and resources, but he's going to need some help here. Margot will get the match point. A couple of contracts as well. Takes the harvests. I mean, might as well. Yeah, well, you got to take one of them. So I'd probably take the easier one. Is the Spice up the money ever going to be useful there? I don't know. We'll see. Anyways. So here we go then, it's round 7. And past BlackShadow will eventually show you what the combat is. It is the Spice Refinery, that's the one. It's the money fight. Green's got a bit of money. But he's got buy access, so it's going to be difficult for... going to not be easy for folks to gain a ton of points out of this. Of course... Blue does have market opportunity, but they've used up all their forces, so it's going to be hard for them to look to do a whole lot here. Also, kind of wish past BlackShadow had shifted the camera slightly to the left. I'm sorry about that. You can't see Muad'Dib's 5th card. Oh no, for the future. So Muad'Dib's in a spot. By the way, look at this table. There is 17 water between 4 people. There's paddling pools everywhere. So it's coordination. He feels he's just got to start firing in. He doesn't have too much else to do here. He can at least get distraction off and get a spy down to wherever he's going off next. He's got to try and free up his hand here. He's got buy access as well, which will give him some bumps here. He'll look to probably use that for the... he's got 2 save points, obviously, with Emperor and Spacing, but he also has potential to maybe go for the... he does have potential to go Spacing Alliance. A bit risky, though, when there's going to be a lot of Highlines getting fired off here. And Gurney Halleck has got Highliner access with Reliable, and I don't think there's any way he can stop himself from just blasting in here. It seems like, what else are you going to do? So, in he goes. With Guild Spy as well, you can start putting maybe a spy up on the Fremen as well. Be pretty useful. Hard for him to get to 9 Persuasion here, though. Margot not the best of spots. Probably just got to take what points are available here. Needs to try and end this game ASAP here because people are going to start catching. So, red with a variety of options here. But I'm going to leave you with past BlackShadow here, who's going to come in. Good news, this is the last time I have to fill in for past BlackShadow. This video, man. This damn video. See you guys later. Oh, sorry about that. I had my mic muted, so there's going to be a lot of editing in this one. So, I think Shaddam should hit either Spice Irony or Research Station. He's got Capture Mentat, which is amazing, obviously, at Privilege, but he feels he's just got to get this war to use, which is not unreasonable. Here comes Depart. It's pretty ambitious, but he's going to get 7 troops in. 2 garrison, 2 deployed, and 3 recruited. And unexpected allies will be coming here. So what does Muad'Dib do? I guess Muad'Dib, yep, he's not even going to bother with the Sword Master. I figured he might. I was thinking, is he going Research Station here? He is. Pause his Diplo. Oof. Well, Muad'Dib is absolutely hating life right now. It's all going horribly wrong for Videll here. Unfortunately, when you're sitting in the 3rd seat, you just absolutely have to have the... yeah, you've just got to have the action economy. And he doesn't. So he's scrambling for whatever he can here, but unfortunately, dreams of the quarterfinals are slipping away here. And remember, of course, if Beast wins this in blue, and Videll comes last, Beast could still overtake Videll for 5th place. Videll is not safe in the wildcards. It's a weird deployment of troops, that isn't it? He's like trying to make sure he gets the spice. If you can do that, you might as well commit, but it feels horrible to commit. It's like, how are you ever going to win? It's just a miserable, miserable spot here for Muad'Dib. He is in the hole. He's not got Spicer's Flow. He's pulled his Diplo. He's trying to get spice so we can maybe get to like shipping next round or something. He's got 2 intrigues in his hands that he can't use. His bad times. Gurney just double drawing. Oh, he's got 8. He's actually got 9 persuasion as Gurney Halleck. Can you believe that? He's actually got enough for guild spy bumps here. He's at 9 exactly with Always Smiling. But he doesn't have a way to continue drawing. So if he puts in more troops with his ring, he cannot put them in. He'd lose his Spiceless Flow, which I don't think he can do here. But it's so tightly poised. He's got no intrigues as well. And Emperor Shaddam is going to continue to barrel down here, you'd think. So he's going to use this to get hold of the acquire contract, you would imagine. And more forces are coming in. Well, Gurney Halleck is in a world of trouble here. He's either got to go Assembly Hall with his ring and hope to get lucky or something, or he's going to have to just go Siege and give up the Spiceless Flow. His 2 spies are factions. It's either that or he uses Guild Spy. Could he consider using Guild Spy at like Desert Tactics? But if you're going to do that, I guess you must just use your ring, right? And just go Siege. Terrible spot for Gurney Halleck. The problem is, I don't think he can win this. I don't think he can win this. terrible spot for Gurney. Red's been allowed just to kind of sit and wait here and just bide his time. Gurney has been pretty aggressive for a lot of this. But right now, when he needs those intrigues, he doesn't have them. I feel like he's just going to talk himself into siege, putting in 2 troops and unswerving. It's +6 strength and hoping it's good. Muad'Dib might have him beat, but it's difficult. In fact, I don't think Muad'Dib can have him beat. The most he can have is 5 strength. Unless he's got both battle intrigues. He'll be 8 ahead of Shaddam. Oh, of course, there's... oh, yeah, of course, the wall's been busted, so he can just do it this way. Yeah, this makes sense. In this case, yeah, he has to go deep desert. Yeah, this is mandatory. Didn't even see that. Yeah, this is absolutely mandatory then. Sorry, folks. It's been a bit of a complicated game, and a couple of stop-starts haven't helped. So he realizes he has to give up the spiceless flow, and he does. It sucks, but it's what it's got to be. Margot hits privilege. Is she going to get rid of market opportunity, I guess? She might gamble. She's at 7 points. She has to recall an agent. That is not the one she sent down. So either Emperor or Refinery. I don't think she can give Refinery up because Shaddam wants the money. So it has to be the Emperor bump here. Does trash mark opportunity for a respin of an intrigue. That's not helping a lot. Not right now. And Shaddam's going to realize that he now can't win, so he's just going to go ahead and just pick up what he can, basically. So picks up the draw. He'll discard the dagger. I assume he's at 2, 4, 6. He's at 9 persuasion. I don't think he's willing to take the chance with the dagger here, so he'll discard it for a redraw, and he also gets an intrigue. Can he get lucky with something? No, but, well, I mean, it is lucky. It's a point. It's just a straight point. How does he find Chowan Profits there? What? That's pretty insane. Smuggler's Haven's coming, by the way, next round as well, so he's going to be using that for a point here. So, Choam's going to get him to 6. Spiceless Flow, 7. Smuggler's Haven is shooting for 8. But beyond that, I don't know. I mean, Gurney Halleck absolutely needed this swing round. It's going to be 3 points for him, though. Obviously, the troops going in. He has to. Like, he might as well. 8 to buy. Look at the row. He might well consider buying, like, a cheap card here just to see what he pulls off. No, not even interested. I would have been tempted. Oh, he's got a huge deck. Okay, maybe not. I mean, Margot just delivers supplies, right? Just take the point. Yeah, you got to just take the point here. I don't think anything else makes any sense. So, Shaddam will take a couple of points here. Now, will he use unexpected allies to get in front of Muad'Dib? I think he might use them anyways. I don't know, but he kind of wants to wait for it for a battle he could win. But it's really hard for him to win another fight. Like, he's spent a lot of his forces here. But he's going to hold on to it. He figures, well, I might be able to get Highliner in next round. Margot just with prepare. So, nothing to play here. Only scores 3 points. Unfortunately, does not have enough money to make any refinery cash-ins, but he'll feel fairly happy. Or happy enough. Took a few too many there. So, Muad'Dib picks up back by Choam. You know, for that money he's been looking after. Wanting for Swordmaster? Well, there you go. Oh, dear. Wow. And round 8's propaganda. Can you believe that Emperor Shaddam manages to find... I mean, he had the Chris Knife contract symbol as well, but can you imagine it's the one symbol that he matches with automatically? Amazing, isn't it? It means that no alliances are particularly safe, though. Gurney's out of order. No Hagar Basin for him. Gurney has a difficult hand. But unfortunately, the problem is when you start going on swerving loyalties heavily, you're going to have difficult hands. And that's exactly what he's got here. I don't really know what he's going to do here. It seems very hard for him to score. He's going to have to just put it on he's just got to go for symbols, so it's 2 spies, not 1. Yeah, it is mandatory, so I have to tell him. If you've got a spare spy, you have to put it down. Margot does not have hooks, but she might figure she's just going to pick up the... Oh, she doesn't have access to Hagar Basin. A spy is at Reset Station and Siege. Now, she can only pull 1 for information. She cannot pull both. You cannot pull 2 spies for the same reason. So she'll only be able to pull 1 spy for information. The other one will have to stay. Hold on. Are you using a spy? Because if so, then you can't trash first. Yeah. If you're pulling information for the spy, the recall spy and its effect happens before anything else, so you are not allowed to make any kind of draw trashing like that beforehand. That is not allowed. So it has to sit in the deck, whether she wants to or not. Doesn't draw it in the end. But that is the sequencing. So, does Shaddam highline? He could highline and thinks he can still get Imperial Base with Smuggler's Haven. He could also decide to not highline yet and think he's going to be okay. That's why he's taking the highliner. Oh my goodness me, the highliner troop contract came up. Can you believe that? That is unbelievable. Wow. I tell you what, Shaddam's had some timing in this, hasn't he? He's had some cards and contracts come out just when he needed them. And Emperor Shaddam's about to dump 9 troops and 2 worms and a worm into this conflict. This battle's going to be his. What points can he take, though? Fremen Alliance, Emperor Alliance, both there. Spacing Alliance is in danger, and Muad'Dib knows that Spacing Alliance is absolutely in peril. I mean, his game's kind of over here, to be honest. Like, it has not gone for him at all. If anything, he might hope in a way that Red wins, because if he comes last, as long as Blue doesn't win, he's still in the guaranteed for the knockouts in the wildcards. So, you know, it's these little things sometimes. TheGreedyGrill looking good, though, for qualification here. And to be fair, this would be a good result for Jinx as well. Jinx would also be okay with this. He'd make it through to the quarters. He figures the best defense is offense. But goodness me, is he going to need some help? Well, Sardaukar coordination is actually a pretty insane draw. That might dig him out of trouble here. Maybe he can still fire another worm in with Desert Power. Gurney with a very sad looking Desert Gather support here. Margot has oodles of persuasion. So Margot is kind of looking at going Imperial privilege so that she can go research station again. That's what she kind of wants to do. If she's willing to wait for a moment. She's also thinking about any way she can make it so she can actually play Price is No Object and have 9 Solari on hand, but I don't think she can get to it. She's going to play Privilege now. There's the Spice Must Flow card. So she has to recall that. So puts the Spy back down, which she's going to, yes, she's going to re-hit it and then get the extra draw again. And so basically, let's just draw basically her entire deck. Distraction, obviously no good. Did she find anything better? Questionable Methods is +5 swords. So, here it goes. Smuggler's Haven, just to get it all done here. GreedyGrill's going to assume they've got this game in the bag, and to be brutally honest. Between this and Unexpected Allies, like, they're just going to assume that they're just going to win this game and it's over. I think. I don't think they believe that they're going to lose this. That's 22 combat strength. It looks pretty juicy, but you never know. Muad'Dib can pull intrigues. He's got a lot of spice. Muad'Dib has to coordinate. It's the only thing he can do here. He has to try. He finds change allegiances. And he has another intrigue coming. But it's not red. It's not battle, though. If Muad'Dib can find, like, Pull the Spy or Questionable Methods or anything like that. Here comes Manipulation. Has to be off the Imperium row. Looks like Helena's Ring of Old. Just protecting the hand, of course. Probably not relevant. What on earth is Gurney Halleck's best move here? I have no idea what his best move is. I guess you just go Hacker Basin and just try and get as much spice as you can. I guess. I have no idea what Gurney Halleck does here. I think he's just going to ship and just take an Emperor bump, I guess. Gonna take the cash. Okay. Well, Muad'Dib hates that. Muad'Dib's like, what's going on here? I'll be honest, that's a curious move. Margot almost wants to go Siege to chuck in a worm a little bit at Hager Basin. Almost, but she'll just research station again here. She's going to draw her whole deck here. She'll draw 4 cards. She's got 5. Yeah, her hand is... She's got a lot of Spices Flow, kids. I don't even know what that persuasion is. It's probably like 14 or something, I guess. 14, 15. It's a lot. Shaddam's got 1 extra move. I'd go like Desert Tactics or something. You know? Could go Secrets, double intrigue draw. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got all the persuasion in the world. Secrets is a double intrigue draw. Could also then steal the Bene Gesserit alliance from Margot. Margot does obviously have Benny access in hand. Could steal that from her. Be better off than just taking a straight alliance. Deprive other people of points. I think Secret's double intrigue is pretty good. I think it's better than doing this, honestly. Like, Captain Mentat's great, but, like, you could, you know. I don't know. I think I'd rather go Secrets just for that extra bump, because it means you could then steal the alliance, but maybe he figures it doesn't really matter. Well, that's it. It's over. That's exactly what Muad'Dib was looking for. It is game over. Emperor Shaddam wins it. He will not be stopped here, I don't think. Picks up Secure Spice Trade as well. Brucey bonus. This one's over. You can phone it in. So Greedy's going to win it. He will top the table. Jinx will be fine enough. We'll go second place in table and we'll take quarterfinals spot. Videll will be a little disappointed how this game has run out, truth be told, but at least it wasn't Blue who won. So at least he'll still have a second bite of the cherry at the wild cards. It was kind of a bit of a freebie for Videll. You know, had to win this game to have any chance of, you know, to have it to get through here. So it was kind of a free punt. It was almost like a bonus wildcard game for him, you'd feel, basically. 2 bites of the cherry. This one hasn't gone at all well for him. It's not been good. He'll hope not to repeat this in the wildcards. I don't think there's anything that can save Muad'Dib here. Spice's power is no good. I'm just looking at excuses with yellow here. Spice's power is no good. He doesn't have anything for it. Questionable's now out. Find Weaknesses out. He doesn't have the contracts for Back by Cho'am. He doesn't even have... the best thing I think he could find is strategic stockpiling. He could make a point, because then he could change allegiances, get the third bump with the Fremen and at least cash that in. But combat-wise, it's not going to matter here. It's not going to make any difference. So, just trying to work out what to do with change allegiances here. He could defend the Spacing Alliance. I mean, the problem is there's nothing here that benefits him. Like, he could... The only thing he could consider doing is getting the spy from the Emperor for Spring Trap. That's the 2 spies for 7 swords. That's the only thing I think that helps him. Is that enough? 21, 22. It is the only card in the deck that saves him is Springtrap. It is the only card in the deck. Just going to kind of hover over him because it's important that he knows now. Because he has forgotten before, and it is mandatory. So I'm going to tell him now. For the sake of the game here. It's Shaddam's favour. It's a blank. It was 1 card in, like... There's only 20 left. It was in there. But he does not hit it. So, I think Spring the Trap might have saved him. Just. Like, Shaddam was still sitting on, like, 2 endgame points, though. And I think Shaddam still would have been... massive favourite to win this match. But I don't think there's anything to be done here. Well, he's just got to work out if he's going to bother do anything to change allegiances. He should do something, either protect his Spacing Alliance or... you know, take a point elsewhere for the average points rating, but I guess if it doesn't really matter. Nothing for Gurney. What can Margot do here? Margot's got a ton of persuasion. She doesn't have enough for 2, though. I guess Margot's just going to go secrets here and just try and hope to hit an intrigue and fluke it. Protect her alliance as well, just in case. Well, she finds the Spice's power, but it's not helping her. Nothing she can do with it. She can retreat for some extra spice, I guess. That's the best you can do with that. But not to be. So, You know, I did say at the start of this, I was thinking, well, Greedy can definitely look to take like a deck builder here and just stay out of a lot of the fighting and build up for later. It's basically what he's done. He has had a couple of decent card drops at the right time, but sometimes you need that, you know. Marga gets a Spice's Flow. I think it's just the one. I'm not going to count it. But it's not enough for 2. Leet Kynes doesn't exist, and she doesn't have Gurney Alex, so I don't have to worry about it. It's like 15 or something. A solid second place for Beast. But unfortunately, not enough. Had to win this to have any chance. Not going to be. Shadam's going to finish on about 13 points or something. And Muad'Dib knows it's over. So enough from Greedy. 3 wins out of 4. And he will take top billing of Group S.
GG, everyone.
GG.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, he drew those all. He drew Cho'em in the mid game and drew Spice like the back end of the game. So it didn't really matter. Yeah, wasn't really relevant. There was one card in the deck that saves Muad'Dib's game, Spring the Trap. It was in there. It would have. He could have put the extra spy down at the Emperor of Change, and he would have won this by a sword. It was 1 out of 20, I think. It was the only out I could see here. I don't know. It might have made a difference between who won this between red and blue. Who knows, I guess. But, alas. You know. He set as early as, you know, decided he was going to just stay out of it, build up towards later on. And that's exactly what happened. Seems solid enough from Greedy.
Thanks.
I trust you're happy with it.
Yeah, it went pretty well. I was happy to get, like, in the first round, the contract guy to just be able to go for that strategy. And of course, it's lucky that I draw into the contract intrigue as well. It's, for the rest, of course, getting the Smuggler's Haven round 2 also felt nice again.
Yeah, you're going to sort of get a point from that, or spice for other things and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Contracts as
it was
well.
A little awkward to draw it like 2 rounds back, but it was not the end of the world because I kind of needed the spice as well.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a disaster.
No.
I think what really hurt as well, obviously, like, you know, Green, like, what was it, a couple of rounds or so ago, like, obviously trying to pick up the money for the Sword Master.
Yeah,
Obviously
I
had
didn't
no
have
access.
Sword Master. That really hurt me at the end.
Yeah, especially when you're in the third player seat, like having no Sword Master is really brutal. There was a lot of that sort of issues. Of course, Gurney was running with loads of cards in his deck that didn't have any access at all because of the double unswerving as well. So they made them for a couple of tricky rounds in the middle of the game. You know, which is the way it goes down. Like, obviously, getting those couple extra troops is useful. There was the big clash between them and Blue as well, which was kind of brutal. You know, it was also a strange game. Like, we didn't have a match in combat till like round 6. I've never seen that before.
Well, we also tied the first 2. That
yeah,
also
the
first 2 were pairs.
He pulled that intrigue. Damn, that was really hard.
Yeah, there was some tough draws in this, no doubt about that. There was some pretty gruesome ones. A couple of times Gurney could have chosen a one-off fight, but hanged on and sort of waited for it. And yeah, obviously round 1 as well. Like, you obviously got hurt pretty bad with the tie, but that's what happens when you're Muad'Dib, but it's the skirmish with the influence pump. Like, if people can tie you, people are going to do it because they can't let you just run away with it. So that's just, I think, comes with the territory a bit. But otherwise, it was definitely tough going here. It's a shame it's not a bad deck, truthfully.
No, I got a good deck, absolutely. But I just missed Sword Master all the time.
Yeah.
I have like 3-4 rounds. I pulled the diplomacy. But I just couldn't. But I just couldn't play it because I had no turns anymore.
Yeah, the action of comet, yeah, absolutely murderous in this one.
Yeah, sadly.
But you know, otherwise you still make it through though. You needed, you know, Blue had to win it to try and get through. which didn't happen. Blue gave it the damnedest, by the way. Like, I don't really see a whole ton much else you could really have done this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I got to 8, realized I was like, how am I getting my last 3 points? And just kind of was like, there isn't a like clear path for me to get it. So
No,
like,
didn't really
I
draw.
was
No,
able to
no
get
real
to-
points of intrigue like that. No.
I was able to get to here, and then I was like, I have to get pretty much another two Spiceman flows, even though I already picked one up in round like 3 probably it was.
Mm.
But yeah, there wasn't really, I wasn't getting the cards or anything to get.
Yeah, there's
Right.
nothing, no point
Bumps.
generators, no intrigues. You know, it didn't really help you too much there either. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just don't particularly draw them. Obviously, you won a couple of fights, and none of them were matches. You have to kind of make do with that as well. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there was much else you could really do. I think some of your actions were a bit forced as well, getting stuck in a combat, stuff like that. You know, Candy did things to spin your way, and I don't think it quite happened, sadly. But alas.
That was pretty much most of this tournament.
I wouldn't want to possibly comment.
But yeah, it was all good.
All right then. I'll leave you guys to obviously list us up, and I'll get it up on the sheet and whatnot. And I'll get the rest of the group sorted out. And I'm sure I'll catch you all down the line.
Well,
hope you've enjoyed the comp.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for covering. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.
And so here's a look at the final table then, and GreedyGrill with a ultimately very comprehensive victory will indeed top the table, and he will find his way top of the draw in the quarter-final matches. It also means that Jinx will hold on for second place and will also go into the quarters as well. A matchup with Seven Spirits, winner of Group F, and 2 wildcard winners awaits him in the brackets. And as noted, Crazy Guy, Soldiers, and Videll will all hold on to wildcard spots. Beast, of course, having to win this game. Gave it his damn best shot on this, but it was not to be. Not a whole lot for me left to add, truth be told. Yeah, you know, Shaddam made his still that early. Made a couple of funky moves early on. Obviously, the choice to go down the Frem kit route and waiting on just going immediate shipping was definitely interesting. I think perhaps was a good move just to slow down his opposition just a little bit, make life a little bit awkward for them. But ultimately, you know, just held his powder dry, picked up points, dealt with his factions, obviously picked up his end game conditions as well, and managing to obviously just pick up absolutely everything for this last combat. Still, Welty loses it though, as I say. Spring the Trap was in the deck, and if Muad'Dib pulls it, Muad'Dib wins this battle by like a sword or two. And who knows what happens in the next round between him and Blue. That would be interesting to see, but I think Red still would have been fairly heavy favourite to go through here. And as I said, I don't know. Maybe there's little bits. I think Margot maybe could have made the odd tweak in here and there, but I feel like Margot played a pretty solid game. And I feel like they feel like they played a pretty solid game. You know, them not getting through here is not down to this result, but probably to other ones in the groups. You know, only getting 6 points in 3 games is going to make life really difficult to progress into the rest of the table, and that is what it has been. But we will thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the game. We'll have a few more games coming from the group over the next week or so. We've got a little bit of time left before we start getting into the wildcard playoffs and the draw from there. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you in the next conflict.